Hey, crew, welcome back to another episode of the Skippy Report. In this episode, I talk with Murray Sovereign, owner of Valhalla Pure Outfitters in Squamish, British Columbia, Canada. We talk about his life growing up in Vernon, BC, skiing at Silver Star, playing in the forests out there in the mountains, and progressing through education and into the retail space. I got to tell you, Telemark Ski Retail, run by a Telemark Skier. And I learned a whole lot about the chain of stores, which I didn't realize, of Valhalla Pure Outfitters and that whole history. I found it very fascinating. Anyways, I hope you enjoy this episode. Oh, we also talk about his telemark skiing. Can't leave that out. I hear he's a fine telemark skier. Been doing it quite some time. So enjoy the episode. Murray, can you hear me? Murray, can you hear me?
Hey there, Eric. Can you hear me?
Certainly, yes. Nice to meet you,
Okay, great.
man. Thanks for taking the time for speaking
Oh
with
no,
me.
this will be fun.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm just going to welcome you to the show. I have, for the audience, I have Murray Sovereign, owner of Valhalla Pure Outfitters in Squamish. So two things. Thank you for everything that you do for Telemark. And secondly, I have to apologize. I never knew you existed the last time I was in Squamish.
When was that?
2018.
Okay, yeah, we were around then.
Yeah, I was. We hauled our fifth wheel across the country, and we parked it at the campground right at the bottom of the Big Chief.
Yep.
And then when we headed over to the island, we have a friend who has his own rail car at the museum there. So they allowed
Oh,
us to
cool.
park our fifth wheel over there so that we didn't have to pay like almost $1,000 in fees to drag the fifth
Nice.
wheel. Yes. So can you tell the audience who you are?
Okay. Well, as you've already mentioned, I'm Murray, and I'm the owner of the Valhalla Pure Outfitters store here in Squamish. I've been here. I moved here to open the store. That was 26 and a half years ago,
Wow.
sort of early 1999. I moved here. The store opened in June. I grew up in Vernon in the Okanagan Valley. Um, Kind of just very outdoors, active family. Summers were spent on the lake, and winters were spent skiing up at Silver Star and snowshoeing and canoe trips in the summer and water skiing and jumping off cliffs and yeah, it was a pretty idyllic upbringing. Really, I, I think even at the time we realized how lucky we were,
Right.
and in looking back now, I can't believe how lucky we were. But yeah.
So did you like live at home, or did you have like a cabin that you went to, or
We never had a cabin. We had a house that was right on Kalanaka Lake,
okay.
so we didn't. The house was the cabin
Right.
basically.
Oh, nice.
Um, and then yeah, if we left, it was to go backpacking or
Right.
Bowen Lakes or West Coast Trail, that sort of thing,
Okay.
tenting and yeah,
Very cool. And so that's where you spent all your formative years forming
yeah,
all of your outdoor loves.
yeah.
Okay. Now, from there, where did you, obviously, you went post secondary somewhere?
Well, I sort of dabbled. I went to college in Vancouver, just to Langara, for a few years, trying to figure out what I would do if I did go to university,
Right.
and I never did figure it out. I sort of approached the course catalog as a salad bar and just sampled little bits of history and political science and philosophy and economics, and it basically came around thinking, well, ideally I'd study everything,
Right.
but when you go to the university catalog and there isn't a course for everything,
Right.
and since I couldn't narrow my options down, I just ended up going, well, let's just go back to work and figure things out. And so I ended up working. Uh, I worked oil rigs and worked construction and all kinds of
Oh, no
things.
way. Wow.
And I broke my leg skiing one day, and that put me off the construction job. But I hobbled into the Valhalla Pure Outfitters store in Vernon because friends worked there and friends owned it. And I think someone had not showed up for work for the third day in a row or something.
Oh,
And they
wow.
looked at me and said, "Hey, you're not looking for work, are you?" And I said, "Well, actually, yeah, maybe I am." And so I started working there. And after a couple of years of that, I started thinking, I enjoy this. I seem to be good at it.
Right.
And I wonder if I could open my own shop somewhere. And that landed me in Squamish eventually,
Right.
because I was here visiting my sister who was teaching rock climbing. And she had a day, she had to go into the city or something for the day. So I said, well, that's fine. I'll take a rest day and just wander around and check out the gear shops.
Right.
And there were none.
Okay.
And I found myself standing on the main drag in downtown Squamish, looking up at the chief and looking up at the smoke bluffs at the head of the road, like within walking distance of downtown, and they're going, "Oh my God, there's no climbing
And
shop here."
and like, how can there
And,
not be?
yeah. Now I didn't realize at the time there was a guy who was just in the process of starting up. He'd been selling gear out of his truck in the parking lot and various things, and he had just signed a lease for a climbing shop downtown.
Right.
So we both ended up opening within a few months of one another.
Right. That's very cool. So Valhalla Pure Outfitters, that did that start? I was doing a little bit of homework, so you're gonna have to correct me. Like in Revelstoke area?
Close. It was kind of split between Vernon and New Denver,
Okay.
which was south of Revelstoke.
Okay. And so what's the history there? Because I'm not familiar. I'm familiar with it because you guys carry Telemark stuff, but it
Yeah,
seems like there are stores kind of spread out around
yeah.
BC.
It's actually it's an interesting organization. It started out. It was David Harley was the fellow who started Far West way
Right? Yeah.
back in the late 70s, early 80s. His father had a chain of fabric stores back when fabric stores were still a big thing, and he David was active in skiing and backcountry and all this sort of thing. And Norm came back from some big trade show back east in the States with a couple of meters of this Gore-Tex
Right.
stuff, and he didn't quite understand the pitch himself, but he thought this sounds like something David and his friends might be interested in. So Dave took that sample roll of Gore-Tex and made a jacket out of it to try it out. And before long, all his friends wanted one because holy smokes, this thing really performs. And so that became Far West. It started with David upstairs in
Oh,
his dad's
wow.
fabric store, just cranking out jackets for his friends.
That sounds
And
like
that became,
Louis Garneau
well,
working
yeah,
in his
it's
parents'
very
garage.
similar kinds of origins. They all started
Yeah.
pretty grassroots back in those days.
Yes.
Um, and so so Far West became huge. They were one
Yeah.
of the first two Gore licenses in Canada. Them and Sun Ice, I think, was the other.
Wow.
And but eventually, it grew to a point where he lost control of the company
Right.
simply because it was growing so fast. You had to go public in
Right.
order to finance the expansion to keep up with demand and on and on. And he finally, it was a combination, I think, of he found he was spending more time than he wanted in boardrooms and not enough time out skiing.
Right.
And also there was a bit of a there was a block of shareholders that were starting to get manipulated of trying to basically they were trying to buy him out
Right.
and force him out.
Right.
And eventually he got tired of fighting it and said fine and took his payout.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes that's
and
a
then he
wise
went
thing
back to
to
his
do.
place. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he kind of fell back to his place in New Denver, and it was kind of sitting in the hot tub looking across at the Valhalla range and going through trying to think if I was to do this again and I wanted to avoid that kind of uncontrolled growth that led to the loss of the control of the company and everything he'd just gone through, how would I do it differently? And so what he came up with was basically franchising,
Okay.
but a very focused. He would set up a new factory, building clothing again under this new name, Valhalla Pure. But he would only sell to Valhalla Pure stores, and he wouldn't open another store until he knew he had production capacity to satisfy that much demand.
That's cool.
So he was able to regulate the rate of growth of the company. So he never did have to go public, and he never lost control of it. And so, yeah, it allowed he was able to contain the growth at a more sustainable level. And it's So we've become a very strong sort of regional, smaller to mid-sized markets that the
Yes.
big boxes won't touch.
Right.
Um, all separately owned, and each store does its own buying. So we've got there's you customize your all your offering depending on the needs of your local market,
Right.
and so yeah, so it gives us a lot of flexibility and a lot of strengths. And
That
then over time, of course, the economics of producing clothing in Canada kind of went off a cliff.
yes.
And so we no longer manufacture our own clothing.
Right.
But in the meantime, they had developed this whole software and online platform that kind of ties us all together. And that's really the strength of the franchise now is the brand recognition and a really, really, really strong IT platform
Right.
that we all run off of.
That's very cool because you know what, I'm getting the retailer side of what my dad does. My dad's Canada's largest importer and distributor of golf accessories.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so when you were just talking about your group that you have, that's like some independent sports stores come together, they fall under Source for Sports, and then
Yeah.
they're able to get the buying power that
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty
Same,
interesting.
same. Yeah. There are similarities with Source for Sports for sure.
Yeah, and the other thing is when you're talking about keeping control, that's like my dad. He's always held the reins tight to his business so that he can control everything and make cuz even though he owns the business, he still likes to go out on the road. He's 83, going to be 84 in January, and he likes to see certain clients
Yeah.
and he's able to make those decisions as the owner sales rep right then and there, and it's allowed him some really good opportunities when other companies have fallen short.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then a lot of his rivals have gone by the wayside, and he's just plodded
Yeah.
on playing the long game.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah. So
really
yeah.
really cool. So, uh, so you've been in business 26 years,
Yep.
and when you first opened the store, did you cater to most of the activities or basically just the climbing scene?
Well, it was the climbing that drew me to Squamish.
Okay.
But once I got here, I realized that holy cow, like it's just an outdoor
Yeah.
recreational area. The town didn't realize it yet. The town was still very fixated on logging and railway and the sort
Right.
of resource extraction industries that were dying. Well, not dying, but they well past their peak.
Right.
And as the industrial taxway started to deplete, eventually the town had to kind of grudgingly acknowledge that okay, we need to embrace some of this new stuff, and the town has over time kind of adopted the whole okay, it's an outdoor recreation mecca, and that's become sort of the centerpiece of the town rather than just resource extraction, which is still here,
Right.
but on a much smaller scale. Um, so when I first came here, yeah, it was mainly climbing and just sort of hiking and outdoor clothing and such. But we very quickly started realizing that okay, we could also get into paddling. We started bringing in canoes years ago, and the ski business in the winter, initially more focused on cross country,
Right.
um, but increasingly the sort of alpine touring, sort of backcountry skiing became big here in the really last several years.
Right.
There's always been lots of people here backcountry skiing, but Squamish itself wasn't known as a ski touring area.
Okay.
But as more and more people have gotten out and discovered what's around the area, and all the access routes have become better known, it's become a big business.
Very cool. I remember learning about. Oh, I think they were all kiting. So
Yeah.
my GP I have when I travel with my fifth wheel, I have a dedicated GPS that has all the dimensions of my truck and trailer so that I don't go somewhere I'm not supposed to.
Right.
And that stupid thing sent me somewhere I wasn't supposed to. So we got off the highway, we were supposed to camp at that campground at the bottom of Chief, and
Yeah.
we turned left as we approach town or something like that, we're driving by. I said, "Oh, there's the museum," and we go out on this road that has got,
Yeah.
like my wife said, the truck and the trailer shook so much, and I was doing just a couple of kilometers an hour. And she says, "Man, I
Yeah.
got
That road.
fat in places I don't know I have it." And I was like, "We're in the wrong place, because if this is like the res or something like that, like there's no way I'm going to be going up and down this road with my truck." So I pulled over. A guy came up in the car. He told me what was happening at the end of the road, which we never got to
Yeah.
go see because we were so busy doing other things. And he let me jump in. We drove down, and I scouted a little widening of the road. And I'm thankful for my education on my uncle's farm, because my fifth wheel is 41 feet long. I did a 200-point turn at this widening of the road and was able to head back the other way. And once I got to the not so bumpy spot, I checked. Everything was in its place except the couch. The couch had flipped over. But I was very thankful. And then we used the regular GPS on our phones, and I was like, took us back to the campground. I was like, holy shit. We went right by the campground. It didn't take us there. So that's one of my favorite stories of Squamish.
Yeah. The wind sports is very popular here.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Still is. And
go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I was just I wish I had gone out to the end of that road to see what was out there, because in our fifth wheel, it's a toy hauler, so we carry human-powered toys in the back.
Yeah.
So we have paddle
Yeah.
boards and bicycles and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. It would have been a long way to back up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't. As soon as I found that widening in the road, I
Yeah.
wanted to, turn around and go find the campground.
Yeah. I think I know where you were.
About halfway down, I think.
Yeah.
So how did you, when you started in selling ski gear,
Yeah.
it was mostly cross country, as you said?
Well, cross country was the first one that we really went into in a big way
Okay.
and that was just prior to the Olympics when they opened
Yep.
the Nordic venue here.
Right.
Because when I first moved here, there was no cross country. There was a bit in Whistler,
Okay.
but it was right down in the village pretty much, so very susceptible to weather conditions and no snow and things like that. But when they opened the Whistler Olympic Park up in the Callahan Valley, that was one of the things I missed from living in Vernon. We had Sovereign Lake and Silver
Right.
Star with the interconnected Nordic trails up there, which are beautiful. And so when I moved here, it's like, oh darn, I don't have that I don't feel like going downhill today. What's the other option? There isn't one.
That's
But
like
once
me.
that opened,
It's like me, a Quebecer moving to Ontario, to Toronto. And it's like, where's the snow? There's like no snow in the winter here. And we were cross country skiers.
yeah,
Like, when I first moved here, they're like, cross country skiing? What's that?
yeah, yeah. It was similar here actually. There wasn't a large community, um, but we started carrying cross country gear, and unfortunately, so did some other shops in town. They all thought, "Oh, this is going to be the next huge thing."
Right.
So we spent the next 5 or 6 years, all of us collectively trying to get rid of a glut of Nordic
Right.
gear, and one by one, everybody else dropped it, and so we're one of the two in the area that are still standing.
Oh, very good.
And so sales are now doing okay.
Yeah.
And which is similar to what happened with the Telemark side of the business, because we'd always had a bit of tele gear,
Yes.
just because I came from, every outdoor store had some Telemark gear on the wall,
Right.
and for the longest time it paid.
Right.
And then gradually, as the alpine touring gear started to become more popular and people started going that route instead, the tele business started dropping off and dropping off, and it's a pretty well known story by now, I guess.
Yes.
And but most of the shops that were dropping it weren't actually telemarkers.
Right.
So they didn't have any they weren't personally invested in it. I was a telemarker, damn it. So I stuck with it.
Right.
And every time someone else stopped carrying it, our sales went up.
Right.
And year after year, not by much, but a little at a time. And then one day, I think everybody else had dropped it. Like MEC was out of it.
Yeah.
And our closest local competitor up in Whistler had dropped it. and uh, and someone came in and they were asking about these, if I could bring in a pair of these Majo bindings from France. And Majo, what the hell is that? Because I hadn't been paying that much attention. I had been
Right.
just very passively reordering stuff as it sold, Scarpa and G3 and a bit of Volet, and that was about it.
Right.
But I started looking up this Majo thing, and then the next thing is, oh, there's just 22 designs and Bishop, and
Yeah.
holy crap, there's a lot of stuff out there I didn't know about. And I thought, well, I wonder. I brought in some Majos for this one customer and a couple of pair for the shop, and they all sold. So
Wow.
I ordered more, and they
Nice.
sold. And I was like, oh. So I started thinking, what would happen if we actually invested in this category instead of just passively restocking as we sell?
Right.
And so each season since then, we've been adding more and more selection to our wall, and every year our sales have been going up
Wow.
and up
That's
and up.
fantastic.
And so yeah, so it's actually it's a significant part of our winter business now, to the
That-
point where I'm joking about maybe dropping all the AT stuff and becoming just a Telemark store.
You want to say that again?
I I want to emphasize that I'm joking when I say it.
that's yeah, that's awesome. Because like back in the day, if you wanted to get in the backcountry before AT was invented, yeah, either had to
You had
have
to.
burly Nordic stuff or
Yep.
be a telemark skier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, those were the options. I mean, the alpine touring options that existed were heavy and breakable and unreliable and clunky and a pain in the ass, frankly.
right.
And
Sort of
so,
like some telemark gear is these days.
yeah, but yeah, once the initial investment into better AT gear started to pay off,
Right,
the whole industry piled in,
right.
and that's when all the investment went into AT gear.
Yeah, because
And so
you don't need to learn a second set of skills.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And then what happened was all the people who were just telemarketing because they had no choice
right,
suddenly had a choice, so they dropped it
right.
and went AT. And you're now left with the people who are telemarketing not because they have no choice, but because they like it.
That's right. Some of us telemark because if we do alpine turns, we wouldn't be able to ski like me because I have such terrible knees that
Well, this
when I do parallel like alpine turns, it's like no, I can't do that. And
yeah, this is one of the things I get people saying, "Oh God, that must be hell on your knees." Like at your age, you still. And I said, actually, you know what? When I stopped alpine
yeah,
and switched to telemark, my knees and my lower back stopped hurting, and
right,
they haven't hurt since.
yeah, that's awesome. So your back bothered you while you were skiing, or
Yeah,
wow,
yeah. I think it was moguls that did that. You're
oh,
just pounding into moguls. I mean, it's all the force has to be absorbed by your knees and your lower back
right,
because
right,
nothing below that is moving.
right,
It's just like a piston driving up
E-
into your
exactly,
lower torso. And
yeah,
so yeah, I remember days. There was one time up at Silver Star, I got halfway down sort of the main front run down right under the chairlift, and my back went into just cramped up like I couldn't believe it. I ended up sliding the rest of the way down the mountain on my back
wow.
until I got to the day lodge, and I just lay in the snow. I didn't even want to try to get up. My back hurt so much.
That's incredible. So
And yeah,
how
that's
old
that's
were you?
never happened.
Oh, there
Oh,
you
that
go.
was that was early 20s. I was probably going way too hard, way too fast with poor technique, more enthusiasm than skill.
See, I had this desire that prevented me from doing that and actually stopped me from skiing because I wasn't too smart in school. The listeners have heard this before, and I played basketball, and I was like, okay, so if I'm going to go to university, I'll have to play basketball. If I keep skiing, I'm going to hurt myself. So I gave up skiing so that I could pursue basketball and get through university.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was always, I always continued to cross country ski, and then
Mhm.
when my children were old enough, not that I really alpine skied as a kid, but my wife did, so we got into it. So how old were
Yeah.
you when you started telemark skiing?
That would have been, let's see, it's about 30 years. I was in my sort of early to mid 30s, I guess.
Okay,
I'm trying to remember what year it would have been. But yeah, it was about 30 years ago,
wow,
a
very
little
cool.
over.
So leather boots
And I
then?
had, hmm?
Leather boots?
Well, I started with not even leather boots. I moved through leather boots. Yeah, I had I'm not sure if I got bored with Alpine or if I think it was more a combination of I had moved away from home, so I was no longer on the family seasons pass plan,
Oh, there you
and
go.
having to buy day passes and things is like, holy cow, this is expensive. So I wasn't going very often. And then yeah, I got to a point where, excuse me, where I finally just dropped it altogether.
Right.
And I think I was bored by the time I quit because I started when I was about 5.
Okay.
And so by the time I got into my mid 20s, it's like, you know what? The skiing hadn't progressed much at that point.
Right.
You know, the basic technique and the whole industry was still kind of stuck in the 60s.
Right.
And so I think it was a combination of financial reality I feel like I've been there, done that. So I stopped. And then a cousin that he got wind of that, and he had only ever telemarked.
Okay.
It was
Wow.
only just recently, just in the last few years, I think he's finally gotten some HC gear. But he heard about this, and he showed up at my door one day with a pair of his old cast-off tele skis and said, basically, bored my ass, give this a try. And so I looked at these skis and I thought, oh, I think I know what this is. Because I had seen some years earlier going up the chairlift, riding up the yellow chair on Silver Star, which doesn't even exist anymore. But off to the left hand side, there's a run called FIS, and it's basically a braided run down through some little islands of trees.
Right.
And I saw the Pitbrook brothers, David and Terry Pitbrook, came down, and they were telemarking. And as I've watched them go by, like, what the hell was that?
Right.
And I, I don't. That was it. It was just maybe a 30-second glimpse as they appeared and disappeared behind these islands of trees. And that's what I was thinking back to all these years later. Now that
Right.
okay, that's what I think I'm supposed to be doing. I borrowed some what turned out to be actually just cross country shoes.
Yep.
Like they weren't even boots; they were fabric,
Yep.
like quilted fabric with Velcro closures
Wow.
and the big classic, 75 mil toe
Yep.
and vellum bindings, just a 3-pin binding with
Yep.
no heel, nothing
Yep.
on these little skinny little double cambered skis. And I went up one day and thought, okay, what the hell, let's give this a try. And I just flailed my way down the hill all day long, in my head, trying to remember what it was that I saw David and Terry doing, and how does that? What am I? And by lunchtime, I'd managed to make a couple of turns
Nice.
and then crash and burned again,
Right.
but enough that the lights were starting to come on,
Yeah.
and by the end of the day, I had actually linked some turns,
Nice.
and you get that first rush of, oh wow, this
Yeah.
feels really cool.
Yeah.
So by the end of that day, I knew that okay, next year I'm getting the season's pass and I'm going to push this. I've got to master it. And it was just the old Scottish side of the family, the stubbornness kicked in. And I'm going to beat this. And so over the summer, I went and I bought some Scarpa leather telly boots and some a little better skis, a little wider, and a probably I think they were the Riva bindings,
Right.
something with a heel throw anyhow.
Yeah.
And I went and I threw away all my alpine gear so I wouldn't be tempted to use it. So no matter what conditions were, I had to take my tele gear.
Right.
And I spent the next few years basically self-teaching,
Yep.
and then met up with a bunch of friends who were also telemarking. And there was actually a large telemark group at Silver Star at that time. And so we were all kind of helping each other out, giving each other tips and pointers. And within a few years, I think I was the first ski patroller on Silver Star on tellies,
Wow. That's cool.
just on volunteer patrol.
Yeah.
But when I asked, they had to go and call up the director of the ski patrol and say, "Can we do that?" And he said, "Well, if you can ski the mountain, you can ski the mountain."
Right.
Said, okay, so I went out and skied around with them for a day to show that yep, I can ski the mountain.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
So I ended up my last few years in Vernon before I moved here, I was skiing for free because I was on volley ski patrol.
Right on. That was like me. I broke my left hand severely skiing, and it was just you always break something doing something silly, and so I got hold of Matt Welsh in Maine, who makes made the telly stick because he doesn't make it anymore. Because I couldn't, because I was casted up on my left hand and I had kung fu grip like G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
and I couldn't use poles, but I was playing with my paddle, and I was like, I think I can do this. And I don't know how I came on to the lurk or something like that. Anyway, so
Yeah.
when I started skiing with it, people would look at me. Thankfully, it came apart,
Yeah.
and the lifties would look at me and they'd start to say something, and I'd say, if you're old enough, you probably asked the first snowboarder, what was that? I said,
Yeah.
this is how skiing was
Yeah.
way back in the day. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool that it's been that long that you've been telemark skiing. Now,
Yeah.
um, have you been outside of BC, or have you always stayed local with your skiing adventures?
My skiing has been almost entirely in BC.
Okay.
I did one trip with some friends. We did the Haute route
Oh,
in
very
Switzerland
cool.
back, but even that was God, that was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, my skiing has been, I mean, a little bit in Alberta, up in the Rockies, and
Right.
Lake Louise and Sunshine, but even that's been a long time.
Wow.
And I've never skied in the States. And yeah, it's all been BC.
Now, how is the snowpack there this year? Any
Well, it
accumulation?
isn't yet. We're it's
I just visited a friend whose wife is at Sun Peaks with a bunch of
yeah,
racing teams, a bunch from out here, and there's like one run open, and my cottage
yeah.
is less than an hour from J Peak, and they've accumulated more. Last I looked, which was 3 or 4 days ago, they had 103 inches snow accumulation this year,
Wow.
and Nancy said that they got another 20 inches in the last 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts
Yeah,
down.
no, here it was actually a really promising start. Like mid-October, it was starting to snow. By late October, I was convinced we were heading for an early opening.
Wow.
And then the temperatures, everything just warmed up, and the freezing level shot up back up to 3,000 meters, and everything melted and got rained off.
Oh, geez.
And so and it was warm enough they couldn't even make snow. So
Wow.
when Whistler did open a little over a week and a half ago, I guess,
Yep.
they was the same thing. They had one run on Blackcomb with a little bit of terrain on either side that if you were careful, you could make your way down.
Right.
But it's starting to fill in now. I think
Yes.
they're like today it was kind of raining all day here
Right.
in Squamish,
Yep.
but a kind of cold rain. So it would have been snowing on the mountain, or at the very least, it's been cold enough that they can make snow.
Right.
So I always tell people when we live at the coast here, any skiing we get to do before Christmas is just a gift from God. So just be grateful and take it.
Yeah, that's like
Don't be
us.
too fussy.
Yeah,
We live for February, March, April.
yes.
That's when we get our skiing.
Yes. Yeah, that you know what, when I was a kid, you were a kid, snow started earlier. It's just
Yeah,
the reality of climate change.
yeah,
Yeah. So, let's revisit the retail space here. So your store and your telemark gear. So do you
yeah.
carry primarily just Scarpa boots?
Nope. No,
Oh,
we had
Crispy and
Scarpa
Garmont
and
or Scott?
and Garmont/Scott,
Yep.
and then it took me a while to finally get connected up with the Fay brothers, but
Right.
we carry Crispy as well.
Yep.
And then we carry, I'm pretty much every telemark binding that's on the market.
Wow.
I'm just waiting to get some 7TMs in, actually. It took quite a while to find them. I was actually convinced they'd gone out of business.
They're
They're
still in
just
business.
so low profile. But
Wow.
yeah, so I've ordered a bunch of 7TM stuff. Haven't seen it yet. And it reminds me sometime this week, I need to send him another email. Hey, what's going on?
Right.
And he actually, in one of our exchanges, they're prototyping a 7TM with an NTN shaped toe,
Oh, that's cool.
as opposed to just a straight 75 mil option.
Yeah.
So I want to tell them, hey, you've got that release plate. You need to mount a TTS to that mount plate,
Right.
like put something like the Transit or something like that on there,
Yes. Yeah, that would be really cool. I saw.
because that would give you three really strong sellers: a 75 NTN and
Yes.
a TTS on that release plate.
Yep.
Could be great.
Yeah. So then you
But I
also.
think he's literally a one man operation. I think he's just tinkering in his garage.
Okay.
So I think it's a pretty yeah, it's not a
That's
not a
that's
huge
some pretty
operation.
nice stuff for a one person
Yeah,
operation. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'm sure there's more than one person, but
Yeah.
it's not like he's got Scarpa behind him or.
Right. Wow. Yeah. Huh. That's very cool. And then so that's your boot line and your binding line skis.
Skis right now. Well, we carry just sort of your general backcountry skis. So
Yep.
Icelantic, Xalibu and Ferriol from Quebec, DPS, and we just started carrying Stokely this year as well
Okay.
because they're doing some backcountry and more sort of all mountain kind of skis.
Right.
So that'll be an interesting experiment because the Stokely skier is not going to a backcountry shop,
No.
and backcountry skiers don't think of Stokely as a backcountry ski.
Right.
It's a full on
Carving.
just carving groomers. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how well we manage to kind of bridge that
Wow.
divide.
Yeah, that's really interesting because I only know Stokely as a hard charging carving ski.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's very
Yeah.
cool.
No, they've got a few models now. The Storm Rider's been out for a few years now, I think. And then they've got another one called the Tour FT, which is really I'm looking forward to mounting some transits on that and using that as
Right.
my touring ski this winter because it's a nice light, very soft flexing. Like it should be a really nice powder ski.
Very cool. Yeah, you know what I'm pretty sure that the skis that I got from Josh Madsen at Freehill Life, the protectors, were a little too soft for a guy my size. I just
Yeah.
had a hard time getting them to work, but then when I got back on some super stiffies, I was like, "Yep, this is the way it should be."
Yeah.
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 So,
You can adapt your technique to a certain point, but at some point the technique and equipment just sometimes are
yeah.
just at odds with one another.
Yes, yeah. So, maybe you can describe your shop a little bit. Like, is it just, I don't know. I've never seen pictures of it or anything like that, but I see it just like an OG uh, climbing shop sort of thing, or is it like
Um,
I'm definitely gonna
yeah,
go and
that's I
visit.
mean
I'm
that's
definitely
definitely how it started, but
okay.
it's evolved. Like it started out as quite a small shop. It was only a couple thousand square feet,
Right.
and we've expanded twice over the years to where we're about seven and some thousand square feet now.
Wow.
And probably a good third of our floor space is apparel. And you'll see Arc'teryx,
Yep.
Patagonia, Rab, Nerona. Trying to think who else, but yeah, just and you know, sort of casual lines and things as well. Icebreaker, Smartwall,
Yep.
all the merino stuff. And then the rest of the shop is sort of seasonal hard goods that kind of so canoeing and kayaking is
Yeah.
stand up paddle boards are fairly big in the summer, and then during the winter it that all gets squeezed off into a corner, and then all the ski stuff comes out. So alpine touring, telemark, cross country,
Right.
and then snowshoeing
Yeah.
and all the waxes and irons and scrapers and all that sort of thing as well.
Cool. So
So
did
we're a fairly comprehensive shop. I liken us to like a mountain equipment co-op, but just on a much smaller scale.
right.
So we do climbing, hiking, paddling, and skiing are sort of the four main departments.
Right. Now I'm just kind of thinking how you fit the Telecolo film in your shop. Gonna have to move a whole pile of stuff.
We just all the racks are on rollers and we just move everything out of the way. I've got a great big screen right over the footwear wall that
Wow.
pulls down,
Yeah.
and I got a couple hundred old cast off folding chairs from the local rental shop that we bought for I think it was $2 a chair,
Right.
and we can set up to 100 seats quite comfortably.
Nice.
And yeah, great big screen with a projector mounted to the ceiling and decent sound, and yeah,
So
and it's actually
how did the show go this year? Because
oh,
this
and
is
great.
this your third
The
year?
shows always go well.
Yeah.
This was our third year with Telecolor. The second year that CJ was actually able to come up.
Nice.
The first year we just did it on our own, but he came up last year and this year
Right.
to kind of attend in person.
Very cool. Yeah, I don't know if you know, but I interviewed him a couple of weeks ago. So
Yeah, I heard that one.
yeah. Oh, did you? That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome. And the guys from North Shore Telemark, seem to
Yeah.
be big movers and shakers,
Yeah.
and they have a
Yeah.
lot
So
of
we connected with them a few years ago, and they actually organize the show,
right.
and we just host it.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a good partnership.
very cool. Well, uh, you have an internet presence too that you can send stuff out across the
Oh yeah.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do a lot of online business.
So how?
In
Where's
fact,
the?
we've just been like this last week has just been crazy with this Black Friday nonsense.
Oh yes.
It's just holy crap. Yeah. And it's not over yet. We still got we're backlogged on orders. We'll be shipping like mad for the next couple of days to get caught up.
Wow, that's cool. So most people. So what? Where's your website? I got. You just.
It's just vpo.ca, as
Oh,
in Valhalla Pure Outfitters.ca. And it draws from all 14, I think, Valhalla Pure stores.
okay.
And because we're all in different locations in different markets, we all order differently. So there's an incredible variety on that website, way more than I could offer on my own website by myself.
Okay. Okay.
And but
So
we're the only ones that do any telemark gear. So all the tele stuff that's on
really.
there is us. Yeah.
Wow. I
And then
can't.
the other thing to know is there's a thousand little bits and pieces of parts and stuff. We
Yes.
just haven't got around to getting it all listed on the website.
Right.
So if you need replacement springs or cables or whatever, just send us an email or call the store,
Well, there you
because it's
go.
quite possible we've got them in a box somewhere. We just don't have them online yet.
That's. See, I always send people to Josh because he's got
Yeah.
a whole catalog of stuff. Now I know of another person that I can send people to, which is awesome
Yeah.
to know. That's great.
Yeah. We've got boxes of, brakes and leashes and replacement springs. And then if we don't have it, we can usually get it pretty quickly.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. Well, I want to thank you for, like I said at the beginning of the show, backing Telemark Skiing. That's
Well, I want to thank everyone for backing us,
oh
because we couldn't do it if it didn't pay off.
well, you know what?
The only reason we're
Since
the
I
only reason
learned,
we're doing it is because it works.
yeah, since I learned about you, when I talk to people like our local, if people want to go and try stuff on, they got to hop across the border and go to the city garage. But I'm like,
Yeah.
go to Valhalla Pure Outfitters and order stuff from them. We have to support
Yeah.
Canadian businesses. And
I kind of wish there were more places where people could go to actually try, especially the boots, actually try them on.
yes,
It's really difficult and really expensive to size people in boots online, because
yes,
inevitably you end up paying to ship 2 or 3 pairs of boots out, and then
yeah,
at least 2 of them come back,
right,
and sometimes all 3, and we have to send out another. Like, it's
yeah.
holy cow, it's complicated.
Only
But yeah,
once,
it would be really nice if
only
there were.
only
Sorry?
once, only once was I able to get something online, which was kind of accidental. Somebody saw a pair of Bigfoot boots at A Basin, and they were like at a
Yeah.
stupid cheap price. They're like the gold TX comps, and
Yeah.
I had a pair on. I had a pair, and I break a lot of shit. So I was like, I need to get
Yeah.
a second pair. So I said, Brian, get those for me. We'll figure out the postage, and so we figured it all out. And I sent him an extra $25 so he could buy some beer for himself for doing that for me. So I
That
always,
always helps to grease the wheels a bit.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So no, that's awesome. All the stuff that you got going on there for Telemark.
Yeah, no, like I said, I'm just it's been really gratifying to see how each year, as we invest a little more in the sales go up and sales go up.
That's
And
really
and it's
good to
because
hear.
we're one of the few still in the game.
Right,
Like I tell people, it's not like we're so much a big fish in a small pond. It's like we're the
Only
only fish in a
fish.
tiny pond.
right, right,
And if someone introduced a second fish, and we'd both starve to death.
right. Yes,
But as long as the status quo holds, we're doing fine. And I'd like to see the business grow. Like I'd love to see more people pick up the sport
right.
to where we can afford to not be the only dealer in the area.
Yes. Now,
I think that'd be great.
because of your experience in that, looking at gear, do you think with NTN it's an easier crossover for alpine skiers?
I'm sure it must be. I mean, I don't know. I crossed over, like I say, with fabric and
Yeah.
Velcro. So I I'm perhaps not the one to judge, but I do feel like when I switched to NTN, yeah, the whole connection to the ski is so much more direct.
Right.
It does give it more of like an alpine feel, and I think it does make it easier for people to pick it up. I'm not sure it's the best way to learn. Part of me thinks you're better off getting an old pair of duckbill boots and some Riva bindings or Targas or something, and have to learn how on unforgiving gear
Yes.
forces you to learn how to do it right.
Yes.
Because I think the NTN does allow people to get sloppy and let the equipment do more of the work for them.
Right. That was like a program that I ran here for Telemark Ski Ontario, where I tried to poach young racers, alpine racers. I'd go and cross train them for a day or a half a day, and try to get some kids interested in telemark. And I told them, I said, today you're going to find out how bad a skier you are.
Yeah. And it does make you a better alpine skier. Of that, I am convinced. No matter what gear you're on.
Yeah, I always say centered and balanced is what you need to be.
Or you're down.
Yeah, it's instant feedback. Instant feedback. Nose into the snow.
Yeah. There's a woman in Golden, Larissa Piton, who is setting up. She's got a trailer full of tele gear.
Oh, right on.
She's a Cansey tele instructor, and she's going around to all the hills and taking for instance, taking the ski school instructors out.
Yes.
And said, okay, here we're going to do a whole day. You're going to learn to telemark.
Yeah.
And in the process, you're going to become better alpine skiers and better teachers. And so she's going to be doing an intro to tele day. Somewhere here at Cypress Bowl, I think, in January.
Very cool.
But yeah, so she's just getting started with this whole like traveling roadshow, basically, with a whole, honest to God, trailer full of tele gear.
It's a lot of work, man.
But a lot of fun too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I love seeing the kids flailing away and seeing the few that got it, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, you see the eyes light up with it. Oh, what was that? Like,
yeah.
It's a cool feeling. I wish I could go back and make my first few telemark turns again.
Right.
Just because I remember there was a dopamine rush there for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember learning on our little hill, but I had the advantage because I'm a phys ed teacher.
Yeah.
So, I basically asked Holly, who I got the skis from, I said, okay, so tell me how I make these turns. And she's like, do an alpine turn and then play with tele traverse. And the only thing that I had, I think, in my bad technique was doing too deep of a lunge or too big of a lunge because my quads were always burning. So I've learned to become a much more efficient skier.
Yeah. Yeah, I learned early on, think about compressing down rather than splaying out.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Now I'm just a tall tellier that seems to go out from side to side. I'm not a whole lot of up and down. Yeah. So
yeah.
Very cool. Any other events? I know we talked about North Shore Telemark, so if people are listening in and around the Vancouver area and you're wanting to dabble in telemark, or maybe you're starting telemark, look up North Shore Telemark, and they've got
they're on Facebook. It's just North Shore Telemark that's basically their whole formal structure. It's a Facebook page, with a few key people that run it.
That's right,
but it is a really good contact point.
Yes,
and they've got they started doing it last year, and I hope to see it kind of develop this year. They've got sort of this mentorship list you can sign up for.
Okay,
so
cool.
People who want to learn to telemark, myself and a whole bunch of others, we all took the level 1 last year.
Okay.
And so there's a whole bunch of people who are officially certified,
right,
but with very little experience as instructors.
Right.
But we all volunteered. If you want to learn, get in touch. We'll coordinate a day, 1 day a week, or 1 day a month, whatever.
That's
and
very
we'll
cool.
meet up with you, and you can come out and we'll kind of show you the ropes. Because that's how we all got into it.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We always
the same with rock climbing. It used to be everybody got into rock climbing because a friend took them out and introduced them.
That's right.
And that doesn't seem to happen anymore in rock climbing much either. Everybody just learns at the gym, and then they go outside and discover that, oh boy, this is a whole entirely different thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, the telemarketing, we sort of lost that critical mass of that enabled that mentorship to just naturally occur.
Right.
So we need to kind of set it up now.
Yeah.
And,
so
as it turns out, Facebook pages are a good way to do it. So.
Exactly. And you know what? If you're a good telemark skier and you're seeing somebody struggle, go over and ask them. I remember seeing some guy who was older than me and he had some black diamond bindings on, and I don't know if they were the O1s or O2s, and he was playing with the heel throw, and I was like, I walked over there and I said, "Excuse me, sir." I said, that bail's not supposed to be that loose. It's supposed to be nice and tight so that when you flip it up, you hear a good hard
Snaps.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then
Yeah, it's
after
supposed to
that, I
hold
met
your-
all his friends at the hill where we ski, and I spent the afternoon skiing with them. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just going out and offering just a little tip de jour, as my friend John says.
Yeah. Yeah. I watch for them up at Whistler as well. And yeah, you see them coming down under the chair as you're riding up and try to catch up to them and go, "Hey, yeah, there's a thing you're doing when you turn left."
Yeah, yeah. I love this story that it's happened to me at my cottage, which is in the eastern townships of Quebec, and we ski at Owl's Head. And so we love a couple of runs, and I see this older gentleman skiing, and I told my wife, Sean, I said, that guy's a ski coach. I know he's a ski coach. Anyway, so I'd seen him 3 years, and last year I saw him in the parking lot. So I stopped, introduced myself, told him who I was, because we always acknowledge each other on the chair, just with like a little tip of the head or something like that. We don't know who each other are.
Yeah.
And since then we've become great friends, and you know, I've learned that he was a ski coach at Burke Mountain Ski Academy, and he coached under I don't know what the guy's name is. There's some Eddie somebody Mac something from Tremblant from like the 1970s and 80s, who's like really famous and that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's always good to, you know, just talk to people and offer some advice and that sort of stuff. So
yeah, that's a big part of the whole one of the appeals of skiing is the social aspect. And I find with telemarking it's even a more social
yeah.
form of skiing. If nothing else, you spend more time stopped catching your breath.
Yeah.
So there's more time to visit.
That's right. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to end this here. And again, thank you so much for taking the time to share your stories with us.
Oh, happy to do it. This has been fun.
Now, other than the interweb, are there any other places where they can find you on Facebook or Instagram or anything like that?
Yeah, we have sort of the Valhalla Pure Outfitters Squamish Facebook page.
Okay, cool.
But I'm not sure if we've done a lot of telemark specific stuff on that page now that I think of it. I've got some stuff I want to do. I'm getting together with our social media person to film some stuff over the winter.
But it's okay, because you know what? Telemark skiers do other sports too.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to do sort of like a Telly Tuesday tips or something.
Yeah.
Once a month or something.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, we're on Facebook and Instagram. But the website is the main.
Okay.
If you go to vpo.ca and just type in telemark, it'll be all Squamish stuff comes up.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks again for supporting our sport and promoting our sport.
I hope to do a better job of promoting it.
Well, you know what? I'll do my share out here, because there's not a whole lot. Because I don't even know because La Cordie in Quebec, I think they stopped carrying telemark, and I think it's
I think they still do. Not in every location, but I have seen. I think like the shop in Montreal does still.
Okay.
And so in certain locations they do.
I do know Ski Michel does, because one of the guys on the TSO Facebook page, they talked about there was a sale on boots at $949.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know they're and who else? There was someone else I saw in Quebec. Trying to think. Ski Michel. Oh, Gendron.
Oh, okay. Ski Gendron.
They have some Telly stuff online still.
Okay.
And but yeah, you should actually, if you get a chance, you should maybe get in touch with Larissa at Tailgate Telly.
Tailgate Telly? I will do that. Is that on a Facebook page?
Trying to promote the sport.
Yeah, for
just
sure.
tailgatetelly.com.
Okay, I will do that.
And so it says here, it provides access to telemark ski courses and guides for programs offered in Western Canada. And so she's just getting off the ground. She'd probably appreciate some.
Yeah, definitely. I'll reach out to her as soon as I get off.
She's based in Golden, so more Rockies oriented.
Yeah.
But she does come out here to the coast as well.
Okay, so tellytailgate.com.
Tailgate Telly.
Oh, Tailgate Telly. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, check her out.
Okay.
'Cause she's terrific, and yeah, I think I'd really like to see her succeed at this.
Yeah, me too.
This is her first full winter at it, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I know how difficult it is to haul a trailer load of gear around
Yeah.
and do all that stuff and deal with all the insurance and all the other junk. All right. Well, thanks again, Murray.
All right. Well, thank you. That was fun.
It certainly was. Well, there you have it, crew. Another episode of the Skippy Report. Huge thank you to Murray Sovereign of Valhalla Pure Outfitters in Squamish for sitting down talking to me. A gigantic thank you for investing his time and money in supporting our sport. I know he says it's mutual, but we have to show retailers some love so that they can stay out there so that we can grab gear. And if you're needing parts, hit Murray up. He says he's got a pile of parts, whatever you need. Anyway, so thanks again, Murray, for sitting down. And if you missed the address, Google Valhalla Pure Outfitters Telemark, and you'll land on his store. Anyways, thanks for listening, and check back for another episode of the Skippy Report.